"This baby ain't mine," he swore. But the eyes matched the woman buried on his land. June stood in the mud with blood on her knuckles and a baby on her hip. The cow was laid out by the barn, throat open, steam rising. Sheriff Thorne lit a match with a flick of his nail and squinted into the smoke. He didn't say anything at first, just watched the baby start to cry. "You didn't have to kill it," June said, voice low. She was already dry. "She broke fence," Thorne said. "Spooked the horse. You shot her in the head." "Didn't miss," the baby wailed louder. June bounced him once but didn't look down. Her eyes stayed locked on Thorne's. "You see it," she said. "I see a problem. Ain't mine." June shifted her stance. The barn door creaked behind. "Them in the wind. He's got her stare, like she ain't done watching you." "She's in the ground." June spit in the dirt. "You put her there." Thorne's hand flexed near his belt, but he didn't reach for the gun. Just narrowed his eyes at the child who'd quieted now, staring up at him, unblinking. "I told you not to come back. I told you I would. You been gone a year. I buried her right. Ain't leaving till he's safe." "You think dragging him here's safe?" "I think it's justice." The wind kicked up dust. The blood by the cow was turning dark. "You got no claim," he muttered. "I got his eyes," she said. "Same as hers. That's all the claim I need." Thorne stepped forward. June didn't move. She let him get close enough to hear. "The baby's breathing. You want to play this out in front of everyone?" he asked. "I plan to." Thorne glanced toward the house. "You walk in there, you better be ready." June shifted the baby on her hip. "I been ready." She stepped past him, boots sinking into the blood-soaked dirt. The baby turned his head as they passed Thorne, still watching, still quiet. Thorne didn't follow. The barn door creaked again. Something unseen shifted in the dark. June walked up the porch, opened the door. The hinges groaned like they remembered her. She walked straight inside, like she'd never left. The house smelled like old wood and dusted lilac, same curtains, same tablecloth. June didn't touch anything. The baby's cheek pressed against her collarbone, soft and warm. She stepped slow, like the floor might shift beneath her. Nothing had moved. Nothing had changed, except one frame on the mantel. A photo of Lena, 19, belly round under a worn denim dress, smile tight and practiced. June picked it up. The glass was wiped clean, but when she flipped it, dirt crumbled from the back, packed behind the photo like someone had buried it, then brought it in. Thorne stood in the doorway, hand still on the knob. "Ain't no reason to come back." June didn't look at him. "Unless there is." Thorne stepped in slow, boots heavy. "Lena's buried, been buried. She is. But she ain't resting." The air in the room held something heavy. June set the frame down, crooked now. The baby stirred. She walked past the kitchen where her mother used to sing, past the spot in the floor that creaked under pressure. Into the back room, Lena's room, still painted that pale blue she hated, still smelled like lemon soap. The crib was there, old but solid. June laid the baby down gentle. He blinked up at her, then closed his eyes. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She turned to the door and closed it slow. Locked it. Thorne was still in the front room, breathing loud. "You think this changes anything?" he asked. June stepped back toward him. "It already did. You're gonna rile things up. For what?" "For her." Thorne's jaw moved like he was chewing something. Nothing in his mouth. "People let go," he said. "Then they let rot." He looked at the photo again, that fake smile of Lena's trapped behind glass. He didn't reach for it, just stared like it might say something he forgot. "She wanted to keep him," June said. "I told her it wasn't smart." "She told me you came by that night?" "I came to talk," June nodded. "Looks like you did." She turned her back to him and walked toward the kitchen. She didn't close the door, didn't tell him to leave. Didn't have to. June parked crooked in front of the diner. Dust hadn't settled behind her before she stepped out. Tate Kinley sat alone on the bench out front, coffee in one hand, toothpick in the other. Same slick hair, same fake calm. He watched her walk up like he'd been waiting. "You don't call first?" he asked. "I don't call snakes," he smirked. "You still bitter or just tired?" June didn't sit. "Whose name's on that land now?" "Doesn't matter. It does if she's buried on it." "Grave don't make a deed." June leaned in. "She didn't bury herself." Kinley sipped slow. "You here to cry or claim?" "I'm here to burn it all down." He looked out across the street like the town was something he owned. "You think you got friends left?" "I think I got matches." "You want trouble? Go find Thorne." "I found him. He said it wasn't his." Kinley grinned. "That baby ain't evidence, sweetheart." "Neither was Lena, but you buried her anyway." The diner door opened behind them. The waitress leaned out with a pot of coffee. June shook her head. Kinley didn't blink. "You always like making noise," he said. "I like making things right. You come back here with fire, you better be ready to lose something." "I already did." Kinley twirled the toothpick. "Careful where you step. I know this dirt better than you." He tapped his ring twice against the glass table, slow, deliberate. She didn't flinch. "You walk off now. You don't get a second sit-down," he said. "I don't need one." She turned and walked back to the truck. Kinley didn't watch her legs. He watched her hands, empty now, not shaking, not soft. As she drove off, he leaned back, eyes narrowed. The ring tapped again. One beat, then another. The floorboards creaked under June's boots, warped and stained with old oil. She'd brought a crowbar from the porch wrapped in burlap, like she didn't want the metal to touch air. The baby slept inside, door bolted. She worked quiet, steady, peeling up each plank like a scab. Beneath the last one was darkness, the old well, covered all these years with wood and silence. She crouched and pulled the flashlight from her coat, clicked it on. The beam fell down into the stone throat. Dry, but not empty. A bundle rested. In the center, caught on crumbled rock, fabric, pale bone poking through one end. She didn't cry, she just sat with it for a moment, staring down like she expected it to breathe. Boots crunched behind her. "You stop now," Thorne said, stepping. Inside, with the rifle across his shoulder, "It stays quiet." June didn't move. "You buried her where Mama used to draw water. She was dead. No jury cares about ghosts." June looked up. "She didn't drown. You think I don't know blood when I see it?" Thorne lowered the rifle but didn't. Aim just held it. "What are you gonna do?" "I'm gonna pull her out." "That won't help." "It might." He stepped closer, eyes flicking toward the hole. "You think you're righteous?" he asked. "No," June said. "I think I'm pissed." Thorne exhaled. "You don't know what happened." She was scared. She was loud. She was pregnant. Thorne's jaw twitched. "You weren't here." "I was trying to be free." She was trying to survive. June stood slowly. Cloth bundle in her hands now, damp and cold. He stared at it like it might speak. She met his eyes. She didn't belong in a well, he said nothing. She belonged in a bed, with someone beside her, with a name on a paper, with peace. Thorne turned and walked out. Didn't look back. The flashlight stayed on. The hole still gaped. June didn't cover it. She just sat beside it, holding what was left, like the well might take her too. But it didn't. The baby lay still in the crib, eyes wide, locked on Thorne like he knew him already. June leaned in the doorway, arms folded. The room was dim. Dust floated in the air, soft and slow. Thorne stayed by the window, back turned at first. "He ain't asleep," June said. "I can see that. He does that. Watches. Quiet." Thorne shifted but didn't face her. "He don't cry much," June added. Thorne finally turned. Looked at the boy. Didn't speak. "Name's Eli," she said. "Don't name what ain't yours." June's face didn't change. "He's not mine. He's hers." Thorne blinked. Once. "You sure?" June nodded. "I pulled him from her. Arms. Thorn looked at the child again. The baby blinked back, calm, still. Then who raised him? Thorn asked. June's voice stayed steady. The women you left behind. He looked like he wanted to say something else. Didn't. The silence got thick. He knows who you are, June said. He don't know anything. He knows enough. Thorn took one step closer to the crib. The baby didn't flinch, just stared. Same dark eyes, same quiet knowing. You shouldn't have brought him here, Thorn said. I had to. You could have left it. No. June walked off, left the door open behind her. Thorn didn't follow. That night, he sat in the kitchen with the lights off, bottles sweating in his hand, glass untouched. He didn't drink much anymore, not since the badge, but he drank now, slow. Like each swallow came with a weight, somewhere above a floor creaked. The baby didn't cry, didn't make a sound. Thorn sat there long past midnight, still holding the bottle, staring at nothing, crying like a man who hears footsteps when no one's home. Smoke rolled slow over the north field, thick and grey. The fire had already eaten through the dry grass by the time the trucks arrived. Ash drifted like snow, clinging to fences, boots, lips. June stood at the edge of it, hands blackened, face streaked with sweat and soot. She didn't flinch when Kinley pulled up in his town car, chrome still shining like it didn't know where. It was. She crazy or just loud, he asked. Thorn stood behind him, watching the smoke. She's grieving. That makes her dangerous. Kinley stepped out, eyes narrowed. This land was dead. June turned to him. That's why I lit. You trying to make a scene. I'm trying to show what's underneath. The sheriff's men fanned out, poking through charred soil with sticks and boots. One of them bent down, brushed something from the black. A flash of metal, he held it up. A locket, scorched but intact. June walked over and took it from his hand without asking. She popped it open. Inside, a photo of Lena, round-bellied, tired-eyed, holding a sheriff's badge between two fingers, like it weighed more than it should. That's proof, June said. Kinley snorted. That's sentiment. June held it high. It's enough for the papers. One of the deputies glanced at Thorn. Thorn didn't speak. Kinley muttered, You want a circus, June? You're halfway there. I want the truth. You want attention. I want her back. Kinley looked around at the others. We done here? No one answered. They backed off slow. The smoke still curled in the air, soft and rising. Thorn stayed, watched the flames flicker at the edge of the field. His voice low. That was her locket. She never took it off, June said. You found it here? She left it here. Thorn nodded once, then said nothing more. Kinley got in his car and drove off. The others followed. The field kept smoldering. June didn't move. Thorn stayed. Just stood there, watching the ground like it might open again. June pulled the chair from the table and set it firm against the tile. She pointed. Thorn sat. His hat stayed on. His hands stayed in his lap. The kitchen window buzzed with flies, but no one moved to swat them. She carried the baby in, laid him gently in the high chair across from Thorn. He stared at the child. Like it hurt. Look at him, June said. Thorn did. He's got her face, he said. But that don't mean, don't say it again. Thorn shut his mouth. June reached into the drawer behind her, pulled out the envelope. Yellowed. Edges. She slid the stack of letters across the table. The top one was already open. Thorn didn't touch them. Lena wrote when I left. Every week. You didn't know that, I figured. She told me things, but not enough, not then. He looked down at the baby. The child's hand gripped the tray, soft and slow. June unfolded the first letter. Read it flat, she said. He said I'd ruin him if I told, but I already was. Thorn shifted. His jaw trembled. He didn't speak. She said, he cried after, like he didn't mean it, but he still locked the door. Thorn's eyes closed. A tear slipped. He bit it back. She said, he said I was his secret. But secrets rot. He broke then. Shoulders hunched, face in his hands. Not loud, just gutted. June didn't. Would touch him. She didn't speak. The baby made a noise, not a cry, just a small sound. Thorn looked up at him, red-faced, wrecked. He didn't deny, didn't confess. He just sat in that chair until the sun disappeared behind the window, and June didn't ask for more. The dirt was dry, hard-packed, full of roots that didn't belong. June swung the post digger slow, arms steady, one hole at a time. No prayers, no markers, just wire and cedar, cut and measured. The grave sat plain and bare, tucked behind the house where wildflowers used to grow. She didn't look up when she heard boots on gravel. Thorne stopped a few feet back. No badge, no gun. They took it, he said. June didn't pause. They should have taken your hands, too. He glanced at the half-dug hole. I got a hammer. I don't need your help. No. She dug another foot. I ain't asking for forgiveness, he said. You wouldn't get it, I figured. Silence stretched. The wind picked up. The wire clinked against the porch rail. The baby sat up in his basket, chewing on a rag, watching them both. I came to do what I should have done sooner, Thorne said. June didn't answer. Just pointed to the next post. He walked over slow, knelt and started digging. They worked like that a while, her pacing him sweating through his shirt, knuckles raw. She didn't look at him, not once, but she handed him nails when he ran, low, handed him the bucket when his shovel caught rock. The rhythm stayed quiet. The baby never cried, just stared like he understood what was being built. By mid-afternoon, half the fence was up, simple, strong, enough to hold memory. Enough to mark the line. Thorne wiped his forehead. You got a name for the spot, he asked. She does. He didn't press. They kept digging until the sun dipped low. No words, no apologies. Just the sound of wood meeting earth and the soft creak of barbed wire pulling tight. The truck rolled up slow, tires crunching gravel like bone. Kinley stepped out first, 2 deputies behind him, both younger than their uniforms deserved. June stood on the porch, letters in hand, wrapped in twine. She didn't look nervous, just tired. The wind stirred dust across the steps. The baby slept inside. Kinley climbed the stairs. Where is he? In the house, June said. You finally done digging? I been done. Now it's your turn. He reached for the bundle. She didn't let go. You think this'll bring a peace? He asked. June stared flat. It'll bring her son a name. Kinley spat over the rail. Names don't mean nothing here. They do now, Thorne said, stepping out the front door. Shirt tucked, face clean, no badge, no weapon. Kinley raised his eyebrows. You walking into this? I ain't running. The deputies didn't move until Kinley nodded. Thorne didn't flinch as they cuffed him. June handed the letters over once he was in chains. She wrote it all down, she said. I'm sure she did. She trusted somebody would read it. Kinley gave her a look. You think this makes you right? I think it makes her real. He didn't respond. Just turned, started back toward the truck. One deputy guided Thorne off the porch. The other paused by June. Is the boy really his? He asked. June didn't blink. He's hers. That's enough. The man nodded once, left her standing there. The truck pulled off, trailing dust. June watched it until it disappeared behind the fence line. The baby stirred but didn't wake. She looked down at her hands, dirt under the nails, splinters in the palm. Inside the house, the air was still. Somewhere behind her the well stayed open. And Lena's grave sat marked now, not forgotten, not buried enough, but close. The porch boards creaked beneath June's rocking chair. The baby sat beside her on a folded quilt, legs stretched, one sock off. Morning light spilled across the steps. His eyes didn't blink, just stared straight ahead, like he was still watching someone walk away. June looked down at him, slow and tired. He said it ain't his, but you knew better, didn't you? The baby didn't move. His hand curled around a piece of chipped wood. A voice called from the gravel. You gonna raise him proper? June didn't turn. No. The neighbor. Woman came closer, standing just past the gate. Then what you gonna do? I'm gonna raise him free. World don't make space for that. I'll make it. They didn't speak again. The woman left without another word. June stood, knees stiff, lifted the baby into her arms. He leaned his head against her collar, quiet and warm. She stepped off the porch, walking past the side of the house, past the well still open, stones cracked and sunken. She didn't look down, just kept walking. The burned field stretched black and empty on her left. Fence posts stood sharp along the ridge. Past that, the grass grew thin and soft. Same spot Lena used to hum while pinning sheets in the wind. June paused there. For a second, her fingers curled like they were holding clothespins. The baby shifted in her arms. She walked on, the fence wrapped tight around the grave, wire rusted, wood set deep. June knelt slow and tied a single red ribbon to the top rail. Let it hang loose. The baby reached out and touched it. June stood again, holding him close. His face tilted toward the sunrise. His eyes stayed open, wide, still. Behind them, the house sat quiet, windows glowing faint with morning, the porch empty now, the chair still rocked once before going still. The baby didn't blink, and the light kept rising,